preparing to live stream the meeting. Setting up your meeting for YouTube Live. I'm reading the screen. Just keep y'all entertained. Redirecting, and here we are. Okay, I see my thing there. Okay, get off of there. Go back to Zoom. Go back to Zoom. Got it. More. You know, it used to be that you could do more. You could live stream and do both. Well, I'll just post the YouTube on the group page. Just a second here. Copy. Facebook. Okay. Huh. I don't know. I hope that's the live deal I'm posting there. It may not be. Just a second here. Oh, it should be. Okay. Well, we'll see. All right. Well, how is everybody doing? Fine, I hope. We're doing great. How are you doing? Who we got here? We got Julia, got Stephanie, got Ann H, got Louise. Hi, Louise. And who else? Got Roberta, got
Hello.
Jessica. Hi. Okay, so let's just start out today. Hey, Angeliki, are you there? Oh, no, I saw her. Hello, are you there? I wanted to look, everybody to look at your horse's feet. Okay, well, we're gonna look at, she sent me a message the other day, and she was a little concerned because her horse is going through a stage.
I was lost touching my handy, my telephone,
Oh,
but I'm
where
here.
is it?
I will always be here.
I sure love you. You're the most wonderful woman ever. So I thought we could look at.
We are all are. We are Laura are.
You're all wonderful. So we're gonna look at your mare. We're gonna look at that post message you sent me the other day, so people can see a stage their horse might go through. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Got to figure out where I'm at and what I'm doing.
So until you find the photos, I must tell everybody that
Yes,
2 days after these photos, my mare is doing fine.
that's
And
awesome.
she's stepping better, and she feels better because when she is in pain, you know, she shows it, like being I don't know, she like have lost 20 kilos in one day.
Uh-oh, somebody's not muted. Oh, hope they don't say nothing. They shouldn't. That's what you got to always beware. You got to beware that your camera is not on and you're just getting out of the shower, all right? Be careful of that. Not that that's ever happened here. Let's see here. Okay, I'm working on this here. Open in Messenger. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go up here and take the Zoom and do the screen share. Oh, there we go. Okay, does everybody see that? Okay, so Benitra What's that name mean, by the way? Are you there?
I don't know. She came like a brood mare from Ireland,
Oh, okay.
something like 10 years ago. She's an OTTB. And somebody who has a farm, a horse farm here, making
Mm-hmm.
thoroughbreds for racing. He brought her here, and she had problems with her hoofs at that
Okay.
time.
So how
And
old is
because
she now?
she's 26,
Okay.
and
Okay.
she had a couple of foals, but they didn't come out the way he was waiting for these foals.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to get rid of this horse. But she was such a nice horse. And he called me, he said, I am very sorry that I have to give her away. And she's such a nice horse that I want you to have it
Mm-hmm.
because she has some issues with her hoofs, and nobody will take better care than you.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how my horror story started with her.
Okay. And
So when I got her, I find this friend of mine who was a Strasser trimmer.
Strasser trimmer.
Yes, and then we finished the horse, the mare.
Mm-hmm. In other
And
words, trimmed her
after,
into mechanical laminitis.
of course, and other
Yeah.
things.
And other things. Yeah. So it's been
Yeah,
a real
because I
struggle
had,
coming back.
yes, I had two abscesses every month, as you remember.
Uh-huh.
And this finished the 2015
Okay.
Christmas time. And from then, I, well, I applied everything we knew into TACT, and she went through many things, many deformities, many stages, many new things came out. And now is the first time since you discovered how to unbind the heels.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first time she got some heels, some,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going on.
Mm-hmm. And when was this picture taken here?
Well, just a minute. This was 2 days ago.
Okay. Okay. So the thing that you were concerned about was this hole that developed, right?
Now I'm not very concerned because,
But
every time, every day, we wake up with a new hoof.
okay. But I mean originally when you uh wrote to me, that's what you're concerned about, what you were seeing right here. Am I wrong?
Well, I am concerned because every second day I go there, there are new things coming out,
Mm-hmm.
other things coming through,
Yeah.
and I'm concerned because she had for many years these deformities, and
Mm-hmm.
she has a ski tip coffin bone. So I don't know if she will ever get 100% healthy.
Yeah. But
She had absolutely no cartilages, lateral cartilages.
mm-hmm.
Now she has some.
Okay.
And I'm concerned if I continue to do what I'm doing and if I have some positive results at the end or not. This is what I was thinking because she
Uh-huh.
had really heavy situations.
Uh-huh. Well, what you said here in the message to me was new deformities popped up.
Yes.
Okay. And so what I thought you were looking at was this right here, the cleft in the,
No, this is something new,
yeah,
but
yeah,
this is,
that's,
I consider this positive change.
yeah, now, you know,
Yes,
but at the time, did you know what you were looking at?
I was looking to have some growth of the whole hoof.
Uh-huh.
She had no
Okay.
sole. Her wall didn't descend. I mean, descended like 2 centimeters per every 6 months.
Okay. Is this what I got in front of me here? Is this the most current?
Yes, this is the
Okay.
most current.
Okay. All right. So now I want to explain some stuff. All right.
Yeah, yes,
Okay. So if you're doing this and all of a sudden you start seeing that there's a gap here where uh where the frog stay should be, it's because these bulbs have been wrapped in. And finally, that periopal. Now, you see how this periopal, you see that periopal skin there? This has
yes.
been wrapped in and is, see, your frog stay should be growing here, but it's not because the bulbs have been wrapped in. If you didn't have any cartilage, like you say, she's getting some cartilage there now. See? You can see some cartilage there. So, what I'm just trying to tell
I
people
can
is that,
feel it with my fingers.
yeah. So,
They are
it's getting better.
separated from the P2.
Mhm. So did she get a little tender when all this come undone here?
Tender wear to the
Well, I thought
cartilages.
you said she got tender-footed.
Well, she is suffering. She is very sensitive
Well, that's
because
tender-footed.
yes,
Yeah. Okay, so she got tender-footed for a couple days, but now she's better.
yes. Today she was walking almost normally.
Okay. Okay,
Well,
so
I'll send you the same hoof a month ago.
okay. You know, what I want people to know is that you see this is your periopal band, and so that gets pulled in between the bulbs here. And so then them bulbs will kind of close up and then it keeps your frog, literally it keeps your frog stay from growing. And it actually forms a false frog stay. But what it is it's periopal covering this up between here. And so after a while, as you're, you know, restoring the hoof now, one thing people need to know is if you have not got any heel or any height, you don't want to be removing a lot of periopal, because it's there for a reason. You need to grow in some height back here because if you just remove all of this from in between here and stuff like that, it can cause your heels to contract even more. If you have not got height, you have to have some height back here. Like she's got some height. If you look at this here, just a minute. Oh, now I gotta find the right. Well, wait a second. Let me close that. Try it again. Okay, there we go. Now, if you look at her heel, she has got some heel height, even if they happen to be a little run forward and stuff. She has got some depth to the back of her foot, and she's got some heel grown in. But if you haven't got any heel grown in, and you've got a real steep hairline from front to back, you don't want to go removing whole bunches of periopal back here. What you're doing is you're gonna and on the frog and stuff. I mean, you want to be trimming it, but you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to remove because this also stabilizes your foot. And so you're wanting to grow in heel and get your capsule to expand more before you go removing a whole bunch of this, because a lot of times the way that it's grown, not every time, but the way that it's grown has stabilized the foot, even if the central sulcus here is full of periopal or whatever, it's not real frog, it doesn't matter. What it's doing is it's keeping your bulbs, it's keeping your heels from contracting. This is, of course, as if your heels are not already contracted. And so you don't want to go removing a lot, because then your heels will contract again and your heels will curl in. Now, I'm concerned in something I see here, because it looks like, you see how this bar is curved here? When a heel curls in like this, it'll it'll make the bar curve out like that. See, and it'll make the side rounder. So let's see if that other picture, just a minute here.
Linda, can you please look at the picture, the photo I've sent you
Is this the
of
same foot?
the
Well,
end, yes, the same foot,
this is the same
the
foot.
end
When was
of
this taken?
September.
When was
This
this
was
taken?
taken 2 days ago.
This one
And
here.
yes,
When was this one taken?
the same day. All these
Well,
photos are the same day.
so this is this here. Wait a minute.
Yes,
Let me make sure I'm doing the right thing.
this is a collage of the same day.
Okay, this foot here and
Yes,
this foot here is the same foot on the same
yes,
day.
yes, darling. Yes, no, yes, it is.
Well, how can that be?
Same day.
This one doesn't have a crack,
Here,
and this one does.
same foot on the. Linda, the
What?
crack is there, but
Oh,
it's
I
very,
just can't
very.
see it. Is it over on the side? Okay,
This
it
is
just looks like a
her right
different foot.
foot. No, 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 no. It is not.
Let's see here. So that would be, what
Wait.
is that? Right
Now
front?
this is the right front. Right
This
front.
right
The
front.
other with the crack is the left foot. This
Okay,
is the
well,
left
see,
foot.
that's
Yes.
why I was asking.
Yes,
Because
I didn't realize that you have changed the photos.
okay, you had me
But
all
I've sent you.
confused. I'm
Yes,
going crazy.
I've sent you one photo of
Okay,
the.
let just wait a minute and let me stay on what I'm looking here, and then I'll look at that. Okay, because I
Yes.
can't multitask.
No, no,
So
no, no, no. I just
okay,
want
so
to.
I want to look. So see, now I'm getting my head right, that this foot and this foot are two different feet. Okay, so what was she more tender on this foot?
She's tender in everything.
Okay, because what I notice about the difference between this foot here, and one thing you're going to have to work on too is this deal here. Okay, uh uh okay, not taking as quite as much toe there and trying to get a little more of this, so that where you're jammed up here will start dropping down a little more, because kind of what you're doing in the way that you're trimming the toe and the sides is that you're taking pretty good toe there, but then you're leaving a more of a squarish foot, and so you've got this jammed up wall that keeps coming up in the sides of your toe. Do you see that? Now, I don't know if that can change because of the way she was foundered. All right. But I would start trying to take a little of that off so that this will start dropping down, and see if you can get, you know, not take too much toe, because what'll happen then is that you don't want this to drop down anymore. So I would leave a little more toe here and try and
Uh,
shape my pillars a little more.
Linda, this front view became so one way in a matter of weeks,
Yeah,
of days,
I know it happens to me too. Stuff gets away from you.
because I will send you another one,
Uh-huh.
which is at the end of September.
Yeah, but
The same hoof.
see that square toe and see how it's
Yes.
raised here? All I'm saying is that stuff gets away from you and not to take that toe back anymore, but to work on these toe quarters a little more to try and because you don't want to take too much weight off of this dorsal wall here, even with the ski tip. Okay, because see
I
this
didn't.
needs.
I
Okay,
didn't.
okay. If you didn't, fine. You know.
I swear I didn't take the only thing I did is because you see there is no connection.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't
Okay.
have a white line.
Oh, okay. Okay. So
So
yeah,
I
gotta
was
be careful of that.
trying to
Okay.
correct a little bit the white line.
Oh, okay. Okay, but she's walking better now, right?
Yes, she was walking better, but I mean, tomorrow maybe I go and the hoofs will be different from what we see
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, because see this area here is coming open. And so hopefully what you're going to start seeing is this spreading apart and coming out more, is what I'm thinking. See,
If,
the,
if you can see the ones that I've sent you, it's exactly 1 month ago. It's
okay.
different. The hoof is different.
Yeah, okay. I'm, mm, yeah, because this area opened up here because it was all
Yes.
periopal. And
And it
so,
was all curved inside this
yeah,
area.
yeah. So hopefully you get some more real frog growing in there and
Yes.
that's going to help. That's going to help a lot.
And if
So,
you see the next photo I've sent you from the side view, from the front view, you'll see it is not the same thing.
okay. Oh, you
There,
what ain't the same thing?
here.
Huh?
I mean, I don't, this part there descended a lot.
Somewhat, but it's also at a different angle because I'm not seeing that. What I'm
Yeah.
seeing is that it is still raised. It's still raised. And because look at your growth rings here. So it has maybe has descended some, but it still is raised. But I don't know if you're going to be able to change a lot of that, being as she was so foundered, you know.
And you know, do you remember I had posted where the tubules were all drawn in that left part?
Uh-huh.
It was like switched the whole hoof.
Okay.
If
Well,
I can
kind of what I
find the
wanted to
photo.
share here was the fact that your feet can go through weird changes when
Yes,
they're unbinding. And so I was just going to show some of the pictures of what my horse's foot went through that were similar to the back of her foot. But the difference between this horse and Valor's, Valor was never
found.
chronically, seriously foundered with laminitis like this horse and stuff. But I
Yeah.
wanted you to see the back of that foot, how uh well, I'll just show you some pictures here, just a minute. Okay, so here's my foot now. Well, this is 5 weeks ago. And so this here, this whole frog is still moving back And these bulbs will get, so you don't want cleavage in your bulbs to where your bulbs are squeezed in like this, and then the periopal right here grows up and over it. Now, just to show you some of the changes, this was in 20 when I first started. You can see, I want you to see how much the bulbs are turned in like this. Now, see, this is similar to what her horse had. You see back here? Because what was
Yes, this is
happening,
the phase we are now.
it
This
was
is
a
exactly the
phase.
phase I am now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because see, these bulbs, while this may look okay, it's not okay because literally your bulbs are wrapped up in between. Well, they're just twisted in, like we call it spooling. Here, I'm going to show a picture. Just a minute here. Show another picture.
I am 2 years behind you.
Yeah, spooling. Let's look at spooling. Gosh, my computer just being weirded out. Like, what is the deal? Probably got too much on it. Too many pictures. Okay, so I'm going Jake SK SP spooling. Okay, so new share. We'll go over here and let's see here. We'll start with this one. New share. Just to show you where, I mean, what happens to the bulbs when everything gets bound up. So I called this spooling because literally it's like you took the back of the foot and you just started rolling it into the center here. And as you do so, all the periopal grows over the frog and in between the bulbs. A lot of times it'll strip the frog stay out of the foot and you'll have a fake frog stay made out of periopal and your whole hoof capsule gets smaller. But nobody's noticing what's going on here. They're just looking at the sole like, I'm sure whoever was barefoot trimming this horse was looking at this sole going, gee, look at this nice concavity I have. When the hoof capsule itself was too small for the foot, and so the foot is spooled and spun into the center like that. And so what's happening when that is unrolling? See, your hoof capsule's getting bigger. You're growing in more wall here. And as you do so, this whole thing is unrolling like this. And let's see here. Here's an example. Now, you see these bulbs? Okay, you see that crack there? This is periopal. Look at the hairline, how the hair is even pulled in between the bulbs. This is a piece of periopal that grows from right here and just the periopal grows from here and here as the bulb is spun in to where the frog stay used to be. Okay, then this periopal grows right up through the center of it like this and over the frog. And this was so common that they used to draw the anatomy and they called this the frog band because they thought the periopal band was frog, and it came around like this and it grew over the whole thing, and so they drew the anatomy like that back in the 1800s until Bracy Clark realized this is not frog, this is periopal, and he changed the understanding of the anatomy. In fact, he gave it the name periopal instead of frog because this periopal can become so merged and meshed with this frog that you can't tell where one starts and the other one leaves off sometimes. So, and here you see it. You see how the bulbs can just be literally twisted in. See there? Twisted in. This is a dissection somebody did, and they took just a thin slice off the bottom of the foot. And this is now you see how those bulbs are turned in like that? Okay, so I tried to simulate it, but I really couldn't. Okay, I really couldn't twist these things in. I mean, the force it must take to take this bulb and twist it in there like that. And so this was Valor right here when I started trimming that out. Now, I had heel height. If you do not have heel height, what it'll do, it'll just contract your heels if you take that out because it's actually acting as a false frog stay and keeping the bulb spread apart. So if you don't have any height to the back of your foot and you just start taking that out, well, you're removing all the stability that's kind of keeping your heels apart a little bit there. And so when I started taking this out, like he had heel height, thank God, or his heels would have really contracted. I did not know that at the time. See? And so this is a big deal that I need to make clear to people. Like in all, sometimes we learn things after the fact. And so uh uh we have to make sure, I have to make sure that people understand when they're starting this tack trim, do not be taking a lot of this out and off if you have got no heels and you got a 30-degree hairline. Because a lot of times when the heels are being trimmed out and this has happened, sometimes they'll go wide. Sometimes the hoof capsule, it'll get wider back here. Sometimes about half normal. Sometimes it will just contract in general. Okay. But if it hasn't, if your heels have not contracted real bad, which mine never did, and then you have a low hairline, um, and not much heel, or you haven't got much of your heel grown in yet, and then you go taking this stability out of here by removing periopal, your heels will contract. Absolute. Now, his heels are contracted. His bulbs didn't totally contract. I think because his bulbs turned in like this, they kind of kept the heels from contracting really bad. But I want you to see that his heels are turned in. See how that's turned in like that? So when you're correcting these feet, this bulb that's turned in here like that, this has to come out that way. It has to come back and out. It just has to literally unroll. And of course, that means your heel buttresses here. That's all unrolling and getting wider and moving back. So,
I have a question.
oh, go ahead.
It has been brought up, and I've thought about it myself a couple times on these heels that are very, very rolled in, and you
Mm-hmm.
have that really dinky, unhealthy frog.
Yeah.
And then you trim it away, and you start getting, a healthy frog, but it's very small.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you think that as we get healthier frogs, should we let it get wider to help push these heels apart? You think that can happen to a certain
Yeah.
extent?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Like the one foot I did that had absolutely no frog. It was disgusting. Now I have a very skinny, healthy frog. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, how wide should I let it go? Because the foot is very contracted. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering whether I can use the width of the frog in the back if I let it get wider
Mm-hmm.
to help push things apart.
Yeah, that might help. See, all we can do is experiment.
Right. And that's
You
what I
know,
was doing. And somebody else asked the exact same question. And I'm like, I've been thinking the same thing.
yeah, experiment and see. Because
Right.
I absolutely do not have all the answers for how you get these feet
Right.
unrolled, you know.
So I didn't know if you had already played with that with someone else, helping them, and whether you had already experimented with it through someone else
Yeah,
or
no.
not. But I've got this now healthy frog from absolute a mud. it was horrible. I mean, like I could stick my little finger in, probably touch the coffin bone.
Uh-huh.
And it was horrible. So I got rid of all that. We treated for thrush. Now I have very healthy frog. It is small, it's thin, but it's healthy. And I'm like, do I let this thing now grow wider in the back? Whereas, you know, the Y frogs are, you know, binding the foot up. I'm like, can I use it in reverse?
Yeah. Maybe. I
Yeah,
would
so
try it.
I'm gonna watch and see what happens when I let this frog get a little width. I'm just gonna keep trimming it down to healthy frog,
Yeah.
and that's it. I'm just gonna scrape off the outer layer down to healthy and not take any frog off per se.
Okay. Sounds
And
good.
see
Well,
what
that'll be
happens.
good. And let's take pictures and we'll see if that helps,
Yeah, because I'm just
and
like, well,
stuff.
maybe it'll do the reverse. Instead of unbinding, it'll start, you know, it won't bind, but it'll push it apart.
Yeah.
Its physical size will start pushing things apart.
Gotta try and
So I was
find
just
who's
curious if
that.
you had played with it yet with anyone else's horse.
I haven't.
Okay.
If I may say something,
Sure.
Go
I
for it,
think
please.
because I think everybody remembers that a couple of months ago, my periople was exactly where it should be, and then it changed again to this condition. I think somebody is.
Yeah, I just muted a couple people there. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think that the hoof makes a lot of changes in interior changes, and it goes one way or the other way, but in the whole, it goes forward. Because I remember, if you compare the two photos of the backside of the hoof I've sent you, the one 2 days ago and the one a month ago, the periople was exactly as it should be.
Uh-huh.
And now it shows exactly like Valor's periople when he was growing his heels apart.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looked real full and then it looked contracted again. And this is something I've seen that it can go full and go back and go full and go back, It'll
Yes.
drive you crazy.
So you have to be on top and don't let the deformity go on.
Uh-huh.
I think that is the key. You
Yeah.
have to stand to your strategic. If you want to have your bars more right, you should trim them not to be curved in. And if they go curved in a week of time, you should return to trim them to their correct position.
Okay.
Because everything is moving.
Yeah.
I call it a gang called Hoof.
Yeah.
It is a gang. Everything pushes and pulls all the others together.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, yeah,
So
being there at the right time
differences.
in the right place.
Yes, and you have to be on top of this deformity.
Yeah, I noticed that for me too.
Insisting
I have
on
missed
doing.
opportunity.
Yes, I know, because I know it happens. I'm near this horse every day, and I can micro trim her every second day.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that, of course.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But we are talking about a sick horse.
Yeah.
So I imagine this mare like being on bed in the hospital, and I'm the nurse that goes every day and makes an injection.
Yeah.
This is how I imagine the whole story. But in the whole, it goes forward. Now I can put my 4 fingertips under her heels and her bulbs. This was never before.
Well, see, that's good.
It's
see, you're
getting,
still making progress.
yes, but slowly, and you have to have in your mind, I tell this for everybody, you always have to keep in your mind the inner foot, because it tricks you. It takes you to another place.
Yeah.
The way it grows.
Yep. Yeah, I
And
know what you
you
mean.
have to be
Happens to me all the time
very
too.
strict. You have to be very strict to follow the inner foot.
Yeah.
This is the way I see it.
Okay, so I'm gonna, it's staying on top of it. We're learning, about that, like what to do, when to do, and I notice I kind of go back and forth because for first of all, I'm not consistent. I hate to say it, I hate to admit it, but my life is just so hectic right now that I'm not consistent with my trims at all. As far as timing, not even on feet right now. Because I personally, for me, I got other priorities right now. But I'm still working on it and trying to keep going ahead. I mean, his feet are always getting better, but consistency, I think, is a real key to keeping your eyes open for what's going on, and consistency once you're applying some of these principles.
And to not disappoint people, this is a phase.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
You
going to
are,
go through ugly phases.
yes. You
Yeah.
are 2 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
So
You're going through ugly phases. Yeah, absolute. Okay,
you
so
think that you did something wrong, but you didn't. If you insist on the inner foot,
yeah, that too.
yeah.
Because it was so put in our brains that you had to have this cute little tidy foot, right? Had to be just so. Well, then when you're correcting these and you're growing these heels back in and everything's moving, I mean, you get some things you're going, oh my goodness, just because of what you had put in your head, you know. So you think it's not right, but it's a stage that foot may be having to go through,
And
on its way.
I want to tell something else too to the people who are watching. And this is a very, very heavy case of my mare.
Yeah.
Because all the other horses I take care of, they go like a rocket on the space. They get better and better and better every time I see them. Not I trim them, I see them. It depends on the age of the horse, it depends on the care of the horse, and it depends on the whole situation the horse is living or has lived in.
Yeah.
I mean, the most difficult case is this of my mare. All the other horses go very fast and they recover very well, and they have heels right, upright, and they change very rapidly, and their changes are always to the positive way. This is a very, very, very heavy case.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've been,
So
because she
I don't want,
whenever you have founder and all that, that's a whole different deal. When you have laminitis, plus you have remodeling of the coffin bone, you have damage, internal damage. So, yeah.
I never expected, and I'm telling this to all the people here, I never expected that this mare would have lateral cartilages. And she's getting them. And now they move.
See, that's good. So they didn't turn to bone.
Yes, these were almost bony. One hoof is worse than the other three, but still they're changing for the best.
Uh-huh.
So this is why I'm very reluctant on posting photos of
Oh, well, yeah.
Benenitra's food.
Yeah, see, we need people to realize this is a foundered horse. So the fact that this horse is doing great compared to what
Yes,
you had to deal with and stuff
this is
like
not
that.
the average hoof problem.
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very hard and a very, very problematic hoof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everybody should stick to the inner foot and go, and we'll see that all the changes will be faster and better.
Yeah. So here's the inner foot. So I want you to look, we're going to look at the spooling again. And what happens is contracted heels. Okay, so here's the foot. Now you see this space in here? Okay, so this all can be wrapped right up into there. This is the periopal, where the periopal grows from right here. And this can just be bent, and all this can be just pulled right in here, just like that, just rolled in like so. So this was a healthy foot. Now, I had a picture here, just a second here. Look at this one here, where I marked this part right here. This would be where your heel buttress is, and this is your bar. Okay, this is your collateral groove right here. And this is, well, your collateral groove exit right in here. And your frog, you can see where your frog goes. Look at the frog corium. Okay, so this literally gets wrapped in, pulled in like this and wrapped. Well, your heel grows from here, so it gets turned in as well. See, your heel buttress should not be curled in. It's about this shape right here. That is about the shape of the heel buttress, and that is about the extent the point should be. It should not be aimed that way. Aimed that way. But a lot of times what happens is this will roll in and it can spread this apart as it rolls in. Or it can totally contract. Just a minute.
Are you unmuted?
Okay, so how long was I talking that nobody said, "Kate"?
When you were coughing?
Oh, well, cripes. Now I don't know where I was. Okay, well, let's go back. I showed you some pictures. Okay, this here, you got to stay on top of me here because I tell you what, I just don't know what I'm doing half the time. Okay, so this is an example of heels that have been trimmed out and how they curled around, how the whole back of the coronary band curled around, how the frog was stripped out of the foot. This is not like, this is off an equine podiatry deal. And they think this is thrush, okay? But this is not thrush. This is literally where the heels were trimmed out, and right here is where you're, well, look here. Let me do a deal here. Annotate. Okay, so I'm trying to tell what's what. Well, here's your coronary band up here. Here is your heel buttress aimed that way. You see this right here? Okay, now let me undo that. Just a minute. Where am I at here? Now, look at this other foot. Hold on. New share. This is a healthy foot right here where everything's in its place. Now, right here, here's where your heels should be. This is the heel buttress corium, where that the heel buttress grows from. See where the point of the heel is here? See how there's a space between your bulbs here, this space? Okay, here again, here's your heel buttress corium right there. So you've got a big, nice heel buttress that grows from here, attaches to your heel here. See, that attaches to your heel. Your wall is around over here. Here's your bar. Your bar is going to grow up here. Okay. And so now, let me undo that again. Remember, there's got to be a space between your bulbs for the frog stay to grow. And keep your heels pushed apart. And your heel points have to be shaped like this. They can't be aimed in like that. You see there? See, all of this can be just pulled around into here like this. And it can, in fact, the bone ends right about here. So all of this here can be pulled around in here like this to where what looks like bar and heel buttress, you could have a fake heel here and a fake bar, and this is your foot. See, that's how much shorter your foot can be right here. Because all of this that's cartilage and fat, I'm telling you what, that can be deformed and compressed and pulled in and bound up in a little tiny capsule. And that's what happens in barefoot trimming to one degree or another. And so, and you don't even know it because you got a fake foot. Looks like a real foot. You got what you think is heels. You got what you think is bars. You got what you think is frog. But it's all a distorted illusion. So what we're trying to do is restore all this and grow the hoof capsule back. So see, it's not just a matter of growing heels. It's what I thought at first, but it isn't, because I didn't know all this got pulled in. So now, okay, so you look at this healthy foot here, internal foot, like Angelique was saying, it's about the inner foot. This is about the inner foot. So you can have all kinds of ugly bugly stages. Okay? Because look, here,
Linda,
yeah.
Linda, sorry. Now you have to mention also that you can have what you think that is a high heel, like Simon's horse,
Yeah,
from the video you did. So you think that you have high heels,
but it's
but these
false.
heels are not the correct ones.
Right. Yeah.
And you have an incorrect coffin bone, an incorrect position of the coffin bone,
Mhm.
like Simone did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean these feet can take on different forms. That like you can think you have heels when those are really false heels. Like some horses, they just refuse. They've got such strong cartilages that they refuse to take on that 30-degree hairline like they want us to put on all these horses. And so their foot will literally pull back up, and it'll take this wall that's over here and it will pull it around behind it like this and form a false heel, and it will lift the back of the foot up because the side of your wall is shaped like this, let's say. Okay, like so. Okay, you come in and you take off the heels. so that it's like this. That horse he doesn't want this cartilage up here to be pulled down here. So it pulls up anyway. Well, see this little bit of wall here? It'll pull it around behind like that. And you'll
Linda,
come out.
imitate because we're not looking at your drawing.
What the heck? I wonder why. Because I'm annotating. God, this stupid thing. You're not seeing me draw here?
We see it.
Okay, well, then do you see the little foot I made over here?
Yes, I think Angeliki needs to zoom out.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so let me undo this here to explain this again for my own benefit. Because I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, so you have a horse. He's got a foot like this. Let's see. Okay, you've been told that you have to have like a 30-degree hairline. Now, how did they get that? Can't take it out up here, right? So what do? They're going to take it out down here. See there? Well, this horse's foot that's up here when it's like this, let me move this here. Here's your cartilage up here. That cartilage wants to be right here where X marks the spot. That cartilage does not want to be down here, just like your nose wants to be in the center of your face. Okay, not over here. Okay, if this cartilage, that foot wants to be up here. It does not want to be down here. So, just a minute here. So you come in, and because you've been told that this little triangular foot is the wild foot, the natural foot, the way the foot ought to be, the foot your horse was born to have. So and of course it's got no frog, so you come out and you take the heels off up to here. Okay, right there. Okay, so you've got this foot. It's shaped like this. And you're forcing his cartilage to come down this far to where it's not supposed to be. And so he's going to want to stand up anyway. Well, now I'm looking for a good word. You've reduced the amount of wall here in this area right here. Just a minute. Let's get another color. You've reduced I need another color. You've reduced this area of wall to this, where it was, you had all this before. See how that would be a bigger area if you had all that?
Mm-hmm.
The more wall you have, the stronger it is. Oh, now I got to find somebody that's not muted. Oh, I guess they muted themselves. So you just have this little area now, right here. And you've got a 1,200-pound horse attached to this foot here, where the rest of the foot, the cartilage here that wants to stand up where he's supposed to be. And so the force of the tendon, first of all, that deep digital flexor tendon pulling up, along with the cartilage and the digital cushion and everything, what happens is that foot's going to pull up anyway, only it's going to take this little piece of wall here and it's going to pull it around in here like that. So that then you come out in a couple days and, oh, it's like a miracle, like your horse grew heel. because now what you're looking at is this area from here forward. He took this piece of wall and he pulled it back under his foot here. And now it looks like he has heels. And so then what'll happen is it takes all this here. What happens to the foot? Well, it's pulling the whole foot around in here like so. Every time you trim the heels out. And some of these horses refuse to have that 30-degree hairline that goes down to the ground like that. See, they refuse because they have such strong feet and cartilages. And so they always look like they grew heel overnight. And so at the same time, what's happened to this heel when all this is getting pulled down and around? It's getting shoved up into the foot and it's developing like, hey, what's happening to this foot? Like here's where the cartilage was. Well, now it's like this. See, this is the foot you're developing. And every time you come in and take more of that heel off, well, it pulls it around behind it like that. And it comes out, looks like you have heel. This is what my horse kept doing. And now your cartilage is even more rounded up to where now you have a foot that looks like this. See? When this was the original foot here.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
is what happens to half the Greek horses.
Yeah. Yeah, and so and here's the disgusting part. Heel first landing. You're now have manipulated and deformed the foot to where he's actually forced to land here. Everybody's thinking he's landing on his heel, but his heels are gone. This part here, that's the real heel, that supports the cartilage up above. And then this is the physical heel here. Here's where your sole is, and then you're supposed to have a heel buttress that's attached this. This is all gone. This has been shoved up into the foot. This has been twisted around into the center, and you have a false version of that horse's foot is what happens. So what are we doing here? We have to grow this capsule in and release the foot. We're releasing the foot and growing the capsule in and taking this that was curled around in here and slowly, gradually undoing the whole thing, unwrapping the whole thing and growing the whole thing back. So in between the real foot here and the false foot, you got a dozen different versions of itself, and so when we look at Angelique's horse and we see this gap in here, okay, we know that these bulbs have finally just undone enough that the truth of what is really there. See, what these feet have a way to bind up and present such a false version of themselves, and the purpose is for survival. All these things that happen to this foot on its way from here to here, this periopal band is binding up that foot and trying to keep that horse alive. See, because we may be trimming their heels out, but nature can wear their heels out. Nature, everybody loves nature. Well, she is an arbitrary, evil, mean shrew. Okay? You know how it is, survival of the fittest, right? I hate these deals where you'll see a video like some animal attacking another animal, and there's a human there that could do something about it at the time, and they say, well, that's nature. I just want to strangle them. Yeah, that's nature, but guess what? It doesn't have to be if you're in a position where you can prevent a tragedy. What was it I saw? Somebody watching an otter kill a duck or some darn thing. I'm like, yeah, I ain't going to let that happen. Get my stick out. Get out of here, you otter.
Linda,
What?
can you please mention about, in this case, about the coffin bone, how it works in this case, the coffin bone matter?
What do you mean? Like, I'm not sure what you mean there.
When you have such a small
Oh yeah, okay.
capsule,
Okay,
what
so
happens to the coffin bone?
okay, so your coffin bone in the original foot. Let me yeah, see, can't forget that. Good, thank you. We need to know that. Just a minute here.
Yes, because people thinks that he has heels, and he thinks that he has a nice foot, but the real damage, is on the coffin bone.
Yeah. Um, well, let me pick a color to use. What color should I use? Well, let's just use lime green. All right, so you got a coffin bone in your original foot, let's say, and it's at a slight angle. They're supposed to be at a slight angle. That would be your original coffin bone right there. Okay, so and here's your original foot back here. All your anatomy, your hoof capsule, your anatomy, everything relaxed in the place it's supposed to be. Well, what do you think happens when as all of this is getting wrapped around and pushed forward into here, into the back of that coffin bone? See the coffin bone here goes like this, about like so. Okay. And it's on a joint. I'm not going to draw in the navicular bone, but it's on a joint here. This little bone here. So all of this here, all this anatomy is getting shoved up into the back of that coffin bone. Now, two things can happen. One, you can trim the heels out, and the coffin bone that has a slight angle can go this is called positive angle when they're slightly elevated. This would be what do they call that when it's just flat? Ground parallel coffin bone if it got lowered. And then another thing that can happen is it can even have a negative palmar angle like this. Okay, but another thing that happens is that all of this anatomy in here can get shoved up into this joint here and push it forward. And so then what you'll see on those is this nice hairline that you had right here will start to have a lump like this because this joint gets pushed forward. Well, because these two are hooked together like this, let me get a different color. What color should I use? I'll use pink. What happens is, so now we're going to use pink for the coffin bone. So this rotates, this gets pushed forward, and so this wall will, wait a minute, let me see, will rotate that way and down. See, it rotates. It rotates right here. This gets pushed up, and so this wall rotates down like that and pushes the coffin bone down, which, of course, then what's that going to do? This part here, it's going to push it up, and then it can even be at a steeper angle here because the whole thing rotates from all this anatomy pushing up into the back and pushing that forward. That's when you start getting mechanical laminitis, because as it's rotating and pushing this forward, what happens to the wall? What happens to the wall, the hoof capsule, right here, it pushes it forward. Like while the coffin bone is being pushed forward and rotating, the toes rotating downward, all of this here is wanting to push forward. And so what you have is you have this situation. Wait. You have the capsule and the foot pulling in opposite directions. And that's when you get real bad mechanical laminitis. Okay, well, that's a mess. Let's see here.
I think you did it exactly as it is.
Okay. Script pictures.
Because
Like
everybody has
kids.
seen these bulbs in the joint, and many of us have seen this. How do you say this? Deformity in
Yeah.
the coronary band, where the hoof is coming out smaller than the coronary band that goes up and down.
Mhm.
I don't know how to explain it better.
Yeah. So here we have an example of a foot that's happened to. Okay. Let me get a annotate again. Where am I? Okay. Get a different color. Okay, so right up here, okay, the bulb, first of all, look at the hairline. It's going to be almost clear down at the ground. These heels are actually shoved up. You can see that the bars are curved. The bulbs that should have a space between them are mushed together. That's why there's no frog. This really is not thrush. But see, because these experts don't know the true anatomy of the foot, they look at this and they just assume it's thrush. And they can even think, they don't even know half the time that the heels are contracted. Now, I want you to see where I can see the heel buttress corium over here. Look where it goes. It's pointed that way. It's pointed straight in. Remember on our other foot, where was it? It was up here. It was up here, and it was like this. It was more like that. See, and then you had your bar. So look at where this one is at. It's pointed straight in that way. Look at where the wall goes around like this. See, the heels were contracted, and this here, but who knows what the capsule looked like? The capsule itself had a whole false version of itself under here. I would have liked to seen what the capsule. I'll have to try and go back and find this video and see if I can see the capsule and stuff. And look at how unhealthy, definitely an unhealthy frog. No frog growing between the bulbs. The bulbs have been totally smooshed together here. But see, it says examples of how bad thrush is. Well, there's a lot worse going on with this foot than that. See,
And look at the right as we look at it. Look at the right bar that arrives until the apex of the supposed frog. There,
right
you
here.
see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's got to go somewhere. You know, look here. You can see over here, you can see bar right here. Like that is just
Was het?
totally deformed. You know.
Schokolade.
So anyway,
Ich dachte.
and
was
look,
het
you
niet.
see the hemorrhaging around the edge of the foot here. You know, that would have been damaged too.
Ich schütze
Oh.
im Bad vor dem Spiegel
Okay,
gestanden.
I gotta find you guys and mute you. Oh, there we go. Oh, they muted. Okay. Let's see. Did I just close that picture out? Nope, there it is. Here, let me go back there. Okay, I'm lost. Screen share. Oh, what happened to you? I still got the picture up there. Just a minute. Let me close some things off here to see why it's not allowing me to find that picture now. What the heck? Why does this always happen to me? Huh. It's not let me have that picture again because that's just the way it is. Okay, well, we'll just go back. So anyway, now are you seeing the difference in those 2 feet? How these heel buttresses are not supposed to be pointed in that way. And on my horse's feet, if I got, let me find a picture here. Oh, yep. Just a second here. Okay, somebody's not muted.
Aber ich finde es echt witzig, wenn Leute kommen.
Somebody that speaks German.
Solange wir dabei sind, ist er dann auch dabei. Und so nach einer Weile
It's Mary.
geht er dann hin und lässt
Mary.
Ja, oder?
Oh,
Also
okay.
bei manchen dann.
Let's
Ja,
see.
schon ganz
Okay. Okay. I'm getting there, just a minute, to my own horse's feet. And so I kind of go back and forth on this a little bit too, on this whole cartilage thing, but we'll just take a look at where I'm at. Just a second here. And then I gotta go find, see now? Okay, participants, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna mute you there, girly. Okay, I think mute Kathy. Let's see if I got everybody muted. Okay, I guess everybody's muted. Okay, so here's the stage I'm at. Now I'm getting to know more and more and more all the time what the true foot is supposed to be as we look at some of these wild horses that have never been trimmed. And I'll also tell you that in my experience, I've seen horses that just would not let you trim them, who had better feet than the ones I was trimming, okay? That, like, I trimmed horses for this guy, well, almost ever since I started trimming now. And he had this one horse, that horse ain't gonna let, one time I was able to trim him, but I had to tie a foot up. But I had to do it Western style. And thank God by then I knew they were supposed to have heels, so I didn't trim his heels out of him. But that horse, he's just having none of it. He has never been trimmed hardly ever in his life. He's not putting up with it. He don't want you messing with his feet. And that horse had beautiful feet. And he ran in about a 20-acre sod pasture. And he had beautiful feet. He had better feet than the horses I was trimming. So you see, that was giving me a clue the whole time. As well, the horses I did less often had better feet than my own horses. This really bothered me for a couple years. I could not understand why. Well, because barefoot trimming is you're just deforming your horse's feet and trying to form them into something they were never meant to be. Because, and I always have to clarify this when I say barefoot trimming, because people are like, well, what's wrong with barefoot? No, nothing wrong with barefoot. Horses should be able to go without shoes. It is what the term barefoot trimming has come to represent a specific method based on a certain ideal in their head of what they think the foot is supposed to look like, which is basically it doesn't have any heels. It's got a 30-degree hairline and with the hairline at the ground. And so they're trimming the heels out of these horses. And the horse was never meant to have a foot like that. That's why so many horses are in boots. That's why so many horses never get out of transition. Because they were, if you're not supposed to have a foot like that, naturally, then you're trying to force a horse's foot in that. Well, I'm sorry, that some horses will never fully transition to a deformed foot and stay sound. So people are finding more and more that many of these horses are not transitioning, see? So anyway, so I'll show you where I'm at now. God, just a second. Let's see, new share. Oh, well, I gotta open a picture first. Hold on. Da, 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 da. We'll look at the medial side. Let's see, new share. Okay. So I don't remember when I did this. 10-1. So this has been a month ago. A month ago, this is my last trim on this foot a month ago. Now, I'm really liking what I'm seeing in his cartilages here. Okay, but I'm still working on getting all this part of the foot back underneath him over here. Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So there's a lateral side. And even so, look at where his heel's at right here. It's still up behind his leg, which I'm very, very pleased with. I'm very pleased with the angle of the horn tubules. Doing pretty good there. I'm pleased with how healthy the periopal is. Now, what's interesting as you see these heels, they weren't originally white. They weren't originally white, but you saw on that other foot how curled in those heel buttresses were, right? So it could be they may not have even been growing heel buttress. I don't know. I'd have to go back and try and find that video. And so he shouldn't have had white heel buttresses. See, and he didn't have white soles either. He had a black hoof. Everything was black and a gray soles when I started barefoot trimming. And what it does is because it's so deforms the hoof capsule and the foot that it affects the pigment in it. Why are you calling me? Just a minute. Yeah, it's one of them phone calls. Okay. So I see how healthy his periopal is. Okay, see how high above the ground his hairline is. Everything just looks real healthy and nice. And his bars are getting nice and straight. This side's coming in, but you see how this side is still somewhat curled in and pooched out there, but not like it used to be. This side used to be way out here. Anyway, that's his foot, that foot now. And I can see that my frog is going through something too. When you get these funky little holes, it's because the frog is expanding. And so the frog is actually, the internal anatomy is actually coming loose from the frog that is there because the foot is wanting to expand. And so you'll get stuff like that. And he's probably always going to have this crack. But again, we went over this last week. What is this supposed to look like up here? That's the shape of the foot. When you look at a foot that doesn't have a hoof capsule on, see, this is what I did. I went and looked at a foot that didn't have a hoof capsule on. Then I tried to picture what it should look like if it had a hoof capsule on. See? And so let me show you this. Okay, so we just look at, again, the inner foot, This is a real foot. All you're doing is working with a hoof capsule, the shoe that fits the foot. So let me see if I can, I'm trying to find a front view here. Okay, well, that ain't the one. Okay, now, here you go. This was a foot that was barefoot trimmed for 16 years. This foot was not barefoot trimmed. It managed to escape. I want you to look at, let me get annotate. Okay, green. Look at the hairline. When I look at the front, look at down here. So when I look at the front and I'm looking at a hoof capsule, this is what I should be basically seeing. This is the shape I should be seeing. Of course, we would want to have some sole under there, wouldn't we? So we can make it longer. But this is basically what I should be seeing, except it's hard to explain why, but the growth rings you see are not going to be the same width here. Okay, this growth ring here is actually going to be smaller, so I probably didn't draw that quite correct. It's going to look more like that. Your growth string will be the widest right here, but then it gets gradually less because you got that moon sickle in the toe, okay, but anyway, so this foot was barefoot trimmed for years and the horse was put down due to severe tendonitis due to the trim. Now look here how he dips here, but he gets higher there. Okay, that's from not trimming the pillars correct here, the toe quarters, which are right here. So again, last week we did that one. Oh, go away. You hear that phone? I don't know where it is. But anyway, So this is we talked about this thing last week. How what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand how to look at that hoof capsule and read it and see what's going, if it's correctly fitting the inner foot. Okay, so let me undo this here. All right, so now new share. Okay, so here's my horse and where he's at right now. Annotate. Okay, so I would come in here and I would just look, and I'm liking what I'm seeing here at the hairline. Look how nice the hair is laying down. See? And then, and you see here, here's the coronary band groove right here. And you see the growth rings. Now, I'm sitting here judging, trying to figure out. But anyway, not too bad. Not too bad. Not too bad there. It does seem to be longer here and a little shorter there. You see that? So kind of wavy a little bit there, but okay. And then too, I like the angle of the horn tubules. They're still, now look, when you trim one side out more than the other and all this wall, the reason that crack is there is because I trimmed this heel out more than the other. It shoved all the wall forward. It got to right here. This wall said, I'm not moving. And so it just pushed past it. And that's how you get these cracks. And so, but it still pushed this wall over a little bit. You notice the tubules? Look at them. They're not straight, are they? They're kind of tweaked over like that. That's because this side pushed forward and it just kind of slightly twisted everything in that direction there. So it used to be a lot worse. Like sometimes you'll look at these horses and literally these tubules are going almost over like that, and they're pigeon-toed. It makes your horse pigeon-toed. He turns in. He can't do anything but turn in. See? Okay, so anyway, let me undo this.
I have this problem. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Going out.
Mm-hmm. You know,
but I wanted to talk about these cracks a little bit more.
Okay. Okay.
Because I've noticed today that my toe cracks who were disappeared for some time, now they are not coming back, but there is a discontinuation of the toe wall. Is it possible because the wall, the tubules are moving here and there?
Yeah, I noticed the same thing on mine. Like it'll seem like it's almost going away, you know, but I think instead of, see, before, as I grew the heel in, like now his wall can grow and it doesn't crack open as much as it did as it used to when he was past needing a trim, because as the back of the foot stood up and it pulled all those horn tubules back, well, then it doesn't crack as much, you know. But then again, too, as the whole foot is getting straightened out and these are moving, I noticed differences in it, you know. So I don't know. I don't think this will ever totally go away. But I don't know.
To me, the toe cracks were gone. And now I see some uneven. No, they're not really back. They're not open, but there is some uneven not even wall surface.
Okay.
Like going inside and out and make a wave on the wall, on the toe wall.
Huh. I don't know.
Well, I think that
No.
everything's moving.
Yeah, I
so
think so too. Everything's moving. Well, you can tell there in the back of her foot, stuff's moving around. And, it's just like I just looked at a picture of the side of this foot and his cartilage was much more extended, See, I mean, they're just, yeah, they just go through different stages. I'm trying to see. Okay, I like this one better because I have a better angle. Notice the change. His cartilage looks a little bigger here, but look, this angle here, I got more of the toe in and less of the angle of the cartilage. So, somebody just posted a deal. Definitely the angle you take the picture at makes a difference. So, as far as that goes. But anyway, yeah,
I hope
think,
some other people make better photos than I do because I'm terrible with photos.
well, you're
And
using a phone, right? See, I'm using a camera. That helps.
no, I'm using the phone for everything. I
Yeah.
don't use
Yeah. So you can only take certain good photos with the phone, I think. It's tough. It's tough taking pictures with the phone. But you know what? But man, your horse has come so far. You've done a great job. Anyway, that's about all that I need to share today. Because I have to go to work I have to leave here at 2. So it's 1:29. So if there's something else somebody wants to talk about, or you want to talk about your horse, or you want to know something, now's a good time to speak up. I need a Jeopardy thing here.
I
Jeopardy
just
2.
want to ask, hi, this is Elena from Hungary. I want to ask, do we have anybody in Malta? Or we don't have anybody in Malta?
Malta?
Yeah, we don't have.
I don't think so. Why is somebody over there needing somebody to help them out?
Well, because I am visiting a friend and I just see horses in a horrible state. And I was just wondering, because maybe tomorrow evening I can go to some stables.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to know, do we have somebody, on our page who is from this kind of country?
Yeah.
And whether they help. But I will be giving, the name and details for people who are interested, because what I see here on the street is horrendous, really.
Oh, yeah, poor things.
Send you some. I haven't seen one healthy horse. They're all lame, all of them.
Wow, that's too bad.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'll just try to spread good word.
Okay. Hey, if you can, take some pictures.
I will. I actually can send you, but they're all horrible.
That's all right.
They're not. I will send you now if you want.
That's all right. We all need to be heartbroken. Send me some. It's a crazy world. I just saw a thing where they want to shoot thousands of horses over in Australia, thousands of wild horses. The environmentalists don't like the horses in the park. So I was going to get a hold of somebody in Australia and see if they want to go out and collect some feet. Because if they were going to do that, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be out in that park. Them horses wouldn't totally go to waste. But that's just kind of person I am. See, because I believe all horses get to go to heaven. There you go. Okay, so Did you send me some pictures? Let's see. I'm lost. Let's see. Okay, let's cut out of there. Oh, wow. Look at how high. Oh, look at the. I love those kind of horses. They got their little ears turned in. Wow, that's a pretty. Oh, well, I could share it. That would be nice. Wow. When you were saying Malta, I was thinking, is that still a country? Because I'm thinking of ancient, and it is a very ancient place, isn't it? Of course, every place over there is ancient. But let's see, make sure I didn't mute myself here. Let's see, save, open. Yeah, look at this, like he's on stilts, contracted feet on stilts. So do they use horses a lot over there for this type of deal? Malta. I'm going to have to study up on Malta now. Oh, she sent a video even. Okay. Let me go back. Oh gosh. Okay. New share. Man. That first horse looks pretty sore, don't he? Man, my horse thinks he's got it bad because he's stand there and be trimmed. Yeah. And here's the thing though, the tradition around them places and stuff like that. If you even get somebody that can even listen to you, and probably it'd have to be a man, because they're never going to listen to a woman most of the time. Yeah, it hurts to know the truth. The truth is a bitter pill,
Well, anyway, some horses, like in Egypt, it's much worse. At least these ones are not thin. It's the
Yeah.
state of fit.
Yeah.
And I'm going tomorrow to a proper stable, so I will see what sort of deal they privately owned horses that do not work
Yeah.
have. But probably because the weather is very close to Greece, it's very, very hot and stony. I just want to know how the horses are kept because there is no like greenery. Just so that would be very interesting to see how private individuals keep
Yeah, it
their
will
horse
be.
after them, and maybe they will be interested in what we have to offer. Anyway, just go
So-
and check it out.
Where is Malta?
It's an island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's an island. I will send you the link.
Is it a Greek island?
No. It's a separate country.
It is.
Yeah.
Is it over by Egypt?
Yes,
Okay.
that way.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, cool.
Anyway, so I'll let you know if I get to the stables and what I find there.
Okay. And where were you here? Like, what was the name of the city?
This is Valletta.
Valletta. What are we looking at behind there? What are those buildings?
I have no idea.
You don't know? I just wonder, some sort of state building.
No.
castle.
They're all really old historical things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
how cool is that?
Yeah.
Of course, you can't go nowhere over there without seeing old historical things, even where you live, right?
Yeah, well, the whole place is quite historical in the old town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's my kind of
Thank you.
input. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I
thank
just
you
think,
for
you know,
sharing that.
I really want to discuss my horse, but you don't. I think it needs a little bit more time, and maybe for the next week, I really would
Yeah, let's do
appreciate it.
that. Let's do that. Okay. We'll
Okay. Well,
set a
thank you
date.
so much, Linda. Thank you.
Hey, okay. Everybody have a great week. Unless there's
Okay.
something somebody else wants to talk about. Anybody got anything else?
I want to thank you again and thank all people that were so patient
Hey,
hearing
thank
me
you.
talk so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. No problem.
Okay,
Stefan,
Linda,
I
thank
think you're
you.
doing great, Gare.
I hope so.
You are. You are. You know, you're like me. I mean, I feel like I go up and down and, you know, uh, I have setbacks, you know, like even in looking at Valor's feet in this last, I'm gonna have to go look at his feet, see how far we've come. But you know, when I see like that hole in the frog, I'm like, what is going on there? But I know what's going on there because I've seen it before, to where that frog, the foot is stretching out. You know, the foot is continuing to stretch out. That frog still has to move up behind the heels and way up behind the foot. So I know when things move that frog parts become detached and you wind up with things like that. So,
You know, Linda, it's very hard for me because this mare really taught me about hoofs.
yeah,
And I have two other mares that they have hoofs like rocks.
yeah,
And very correct. They are, especially my very young one, is she started with TACT, and she's solid like a rock.
yeah,
And
see?
this old lady, Benenitra, is really a thorn in my heart.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean, just like with
But
my
we'll
pony.
make it.
Yeah, my
We'll
pony.
make it. Yes, it's like Jackie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes,
You're
we'll
doing way
make it.
better than I am, so
We'll make it. We'll make it.
yes,
Because they
sir.
are fighters.
That's right.
These horses are really fighters.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. No, I think you're doing a stupendous job, you know. But you're like me too, because I mean, we have this way we want them to be, and when they're not that way, we don't really want to even show people the pictures half the time, you know. And
Yes.
like we're just very judgmental, you know.
No, because I don't want to disappoint people.
Exactly.
And
Me too.
and I don't want them to see the worst of the worst cases.
Yeah, but you know what? That's what we need to do. We need to see the worst of the worst, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, hey, everybody have a great week. And I'll try and do some hoof evaluations this week just on Facebook as well, like I did a week or so ago. Okay. Hey, everybody, go out and have a life. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Love
you
you
very
all.
much,
Thank you,
You're
Linda.
Linda.
wonderful.
Bye bye.
God bless everybody. Let's see. How do I get out of here? Snap share.